All right, guys, we're going to try this one more time. We are back with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. James Kaelyn here. It's all right. Hey, internet situations happen. Things have been crazy
We're
because of the
early
weather.
today anyway.
It's all
right.
good. Yeah, that's true. We're early. So let's go ahead and get into it. We had the UFC yesterday over in the O2 Arena in London, so things were on quite early. And we had Leon Edwards defending his title against previous champion Kamaru Usman, and Edwards won by a majority decision.
Yeah. I watched this fight twice, mostly because it was really good. But Leon Edwards did really, really good. His strikes are really clean. Also, I will say his strikes are clean, although I will say he's a very dirty fighter that I didn't realize before.
How so?
He just, and I don't think it's an accident. I think he knew what he was doing. He held onto the cage for a really long time, twice, had a point taken away to avoid a takedown. I think he, and I don't know if this was on purpose. It probably wasn't, but kicked Kamaru Usman, gave him a low blow. Also got caught for holding his glove too while he was on the cage. So multiple things
and
there.
Yet he got the majority decision.
He did, and some people are arguing, well, with those point deductions, maybe he didn't win that fight. But I mean, yeah, and I don't know, what I would have done if I was a judge, but he had a lot of strikes, and he did look better, and I did think he won. Although if you're gonna count all those, the point deduction and just, Kamaru did very well. Also, I still think that Leon Edwards got it though. Sorry, my lights went out, but we're good. My uncle is messing with our electricity right now.
Awesome, even better.
I'm still here.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. But yeah, and so yeah, I don't know. Some people are saying that Kamaru should have won, but I don't think he should have. I think that Leon Edwards got the edge, even though with all the point deduction and all that business, still I think he won. Because also, if you're a champion, it's just it kind of leans the way of, if you don't finish the champion, then you didn't win, type of thing. And I think that's what it came down to. Ultimately, I think that's what it came down to. If you don't knock out the champion, then most likely you're not going to get that decision unless it was clear, and it wasn't clear. So I think it just goes to Leon Edwards. So unfortunately, because I like Kamaru Usman, I wanted him to keep his belt, but I don't know what's next for him or what he's going to do. He's obviously not done, but
that's what. Yeah, so I was actually going to say, he made a comment that he's not done, that he's still going to continue. But, where does he go from here? Because, I mean, he fought for the championship. He lost the championship, then fought for it.
Yeah.
And didn't win. Will he be able to really bounce back after back?
I think he can. I mean, losses? It's just this one guy, Leon Edwards. He cannot get past him right now is what it seems like. Although he could kill everyone else, obviously, because he already has in the division. Colby Covington is next for the title, which was confirmed by Dana White right afterwards.
And he was the backup for this fight just in case.
He was the backup fighter. He weighed in, made weight, and all that. He was ready to go in case they needed him, that was a good option, So the next one will be Colby and Leon Edwards. I don't know when, but that is the next one to make. I don't know how that one's going to go, but, maybe it's Colby's chance to, and also, but Leon Edwards is hard to beat. I don't know if Colby would beat him, but for Colby to have a fight that means something that does not involve Kamaru Usman, I think he has a better chance.
Now, okay, from what I was also seeing, that Usman didn't really use his wrestling.
He tried.
And he's supposed to be a really good wrestler. Now, okay, we also have Covington, who's a strong wrestler. Do you think he's going to be able to find the loophole on Leon Edwards in order to use his wrestling effectively?
I think Leon Edwards is really good at defending everything. And he's such a good striker. It's like, I don't know how you get past that. Colby likes to strike too. He's not just a wrestler. He does like to strike. Obviously.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's the base, the strong suit.
Yeah. So he does have that. I think it'll be a good fight between Colby and Leon Edwards. I don't know. Yeah. But also, how many title fights is Colby going to have? Is he like the number one?
He will permanently be the number one contender. Just forever.
Okay. He just so happens to always be that. And I'm like, okay, is he really? Or are they just giving him a lot of chances? Maybe he's just the number one contender as it is, you know?
He has strong showing against other people. It's just when he's gotten a title shot, he just hasn't got it.
Against Kamaru, he did not have it. So I don't know. I don't know what would happen against somebody else. After seeing last night's fight, I see Leon Edwards winning that fight, though, just because of how he fought in this fight. I think if he did that to Colby, I don't think Colby would either last the fight, or if he did, I don't think it would be a win for him. So that's my guess for right now. We'll see. But hopefully that one comes up sooner than later. That would be interesting.
Hopefully. Then we had Justin Gaethje getting the win by also majority decision. Wow, a lot of majority decisions, or at least for the two main event fights.
Yeah, he did good. He's always good to watch. That was a good fight. Fiziev is tough. Gaethje really tore him up though on the feet. I mean, he cut him up pretty bad. I don't know if you've seen any pictures of his face, but it was pretty jacked up by the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Gaethje looked good. Just did what he always does. He got a little carried away and a little wild, which he admitted at the end anyway. He's like, I didn't mean to do that, but you know, it just comes out. So that was good. That was an enjoyable fight too. The two co-main and main events were really, really good. Gunnar Nelson, which was right before that, did well too. Got a sub against Brian Barberina, who's pretty tough, or has been tough lately. I believe he's from Iceland. He's been coming up a lot lately, I feel like he's been around quite a bit more.
Gunnar Nelson's been around for a while. It's just there was a time where we didn't really see him, but now we are starting to see him.
And now he's coming back, and he's on, you know, because the last time he fought wasn't that long ago, you know, besides last night. Before that, it wasn't that long ago. That was a good fight, though. Got the sub. Interesting. The one before that was a Casey O'Neill versus Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia got that one. It was a decision. Casey O'Neill, I feel like she just couldn't reach her with her punches. She had good punches, did not reach her. Her range was off. Jennifer Maia did really good, tore her up. It was an all right fight. Not Casey O'Neill's night, though. I know that. But Jennifer Maia did pretty good. Not sure what's next for both of them, but they're a little further down in the rankings.
All right, now we'll go ahead and jump to the last fight on the main card, which was Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze.
Yes. I'm trying to remember this one. I did watch this one. It was okay.
It went to decision also. Damn, only one sub in the main card. Oof.
Yeah. Roman Dolidze is very tough, but so is Marvin Vettori. I know he's already had a couple title shots, didn't quite get it. It looks like he might be on his way back up to doing that again. He never really went anywhere. He's been there, still tough. So we'll see what happens next with him. Yeah, so that was interesting.
Were there any other fights on the prelims that impressed you?
I didn't catch the prelims or early prelims, but I will go back and watch those. But as of right now, no, I didn't. And there's one fight I wanted to see. I think it was JoJo Calderwood was on there. Not Calderwood. Well, I think her last name's Wood now. I think she married someone with the last name Wood, but her maiden name was Calderwood. So I don't know. I wanted to see that one.
Luana Carolina.
Luana, yeah. I didn't catch it, but I did kind of want to see her because she was the only other one I really knew on the card. So I'll go back and watch that. But
so that's going to do it for our look at UFC 286, which happened yesterday. Now we're going to move on to next week for a UFC fight night, which is going to actually take place in San Antonio. So we'll be on Central Time.
Nice.
And we have Marlon Vieira versus Corey Sandhagen, number 3 versus number 5 in the rankings for
that one's going to be
bantamweight division.
Really good. That's going to be exciting. I love Cheeto Vera. And Corey Sandhagen. I think I'm more of a fan of Vera. I don't know why. Just that.
I think a lot of people are. So
yeah,
there's nothing wrong
Corey
with that. I'm rooting for Vera.
I feel like Corey Sandhagen's been around for so long and he's been so good and he just doesn't get the props that he deserves. But yeah, this one will be interesting. 20-7 against 15-4. Their records are pretty good. A lot of experience there. I'm going for Cheeto on this one. I'll pick him.
I agree.
Still dangerous. Don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Corey Sandhagen, I feel like he's right there. And
he's always right there.
This could be that fight. This could be that fight that sends him where he needs to go.
He's always right there. Yeah, he's always been right there too, and he's always so tough. And I think a lot of people turn down fighting him too. I think that might be one of his struggles, but he's always right there, always.
And then we have Holly Holm on the card versus Yana Santos.
Finally, I was wondering what happened to her. I always see her training, but it's like, when is she going to get on a fight card? But that's good. That's a good matchup for both of them. Yana, who was Yana Kunitskaya, is married to Thiago Santos, so her last name changed to Santos now. So Yana Santos and Holly Holm,
which I'm glad because that means I can pronounce it.
Their records are exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Yep, both coming off losses.
Right. I'm going for Holly
Holm with the arm reach, but Yana with the leg reach.
I don't know, man. They're both tough. I think it'll go to decision on this fight. I think it'll go to decision. I think you're right. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out unless somebody gets subbed. Maybe Yana can get a sub, but I believe she's more of a striker. So we'll see. This is a pretty good matchup. I do love Holly Holm. I'm going to go for her. I love Yana also, but they're fighting each other, so I'm going to go with Holly.
I have to agree with that. I'm going for Holly as well. And then we have
Alex Caceres. I like him.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight enough.
Long time in the UFC.
I feel like he needs to fight more. I feel like we don't see him as much. Nate Landwehr. He's been around for a while too. Pretty active. I don't know who to pick on this one. Looks like Nate's not.
I'll go Caceres.
I'll go with Caceres just because.
Yeah, I mean he's ranked 15th. Nate isn't ranked. He's been around for a long time. I'll go with the vet.
Mm-hmm. But Nate Landwehr is pretty good too, so anything can happen.
Oh yeah, I mean not putting anything past him, but we're just doing picks. So this is if Nate wins, like, oh okay.
Yeah,
I'm not that bummed out about it.
Right. Andrea Lee versus Macy Barber. That should be a really interesting one. I love Macy Barber. Ever since she started, I think she got started in the Dana White's Contender Series, and ever since then, I've been watching her. I'm such a big fan
for her.
Yeah, and she's done pretty well up until she had a crazy knee injury in one of her fights. She's already come back from that and already fought, but not as easy as she thought she was going to have it, but still doing well. So I'm going to pick Macy Barber. I like Andrea Lee also, but this one will be a really, really good matchup.
I have to go with Barber as well. I'm going to agree with you on that. I think she has the better record, and
barely.
I will say this though, Lee has the reach advantage by 4.5 inches.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, to have wow, and I thought I was long. My reach is 66 and I'm 5'6". She's 5'6" with a 68, and that is crazy. That's a long reach for a girl that size. That's interesting. Hopefully she uses that. That's crazy.
I hope so too. At least it looks like she'll have the advantage striking if she uses her striking right.
Yes. Macy Barber is a tad bit shorter, but she's tough.
And then we have the last fight on the prelims with
wow, can't say Chidi
and Albert Duraev. I'm not even trying with Duraev. Thank you.
The Russian dude.
Thank you for helping my pronunciations. Both fighters coming off losses. We have 22-8 and against 15-4.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the Russian just because he's Russian. But that other guy's record is insane.
Yeah, but he's got 8 losses. Like, you start adding those losses up, and
true. I'm gonna go with the Russian. With Albert.
I'll go Chitty on this. All right, so that is our look at the main card. We got I didn't even think about this fight. We got Lemoore native Alex Perez on the card, and headlining the prelims against Manuel Knapp at Perez, ranked number 6 in the flyweights. I'm a fan of his. He's a good dude. I'm always going to root for him, so I'm just picking him.
Yeah, I'll pick him too. His record kind of speaks for itself there.
Dude can grind.
I'll go with him. Yeah. Interesting. So this guy, not Perez, but the other guy, I think might be coming down in weight. It says he's 142. I don't know what that means.
He's gonna have to come down in weight.
I mean, that's 2 weight classes above. Is he that his walk around weight, or what happened there? I don't know.
But we'll see what happens. I'm hoping Perez gets the win. Yeah. Always root for local guys. All right. And that's going to finish out our look at UFC Fight Night next week on Saturday, March 25th. They are live in San Antonio, so it'll be on Central Time. It'll probably be on a little bit earlier, I believe, because I'm not sure I forgot how it works.
Probably.
With us being in California, it works differently.
Yeah.
I mean, time change, yeah, but I mean, what time they go on live is what I'm referring to, people. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Justin Gaethje has a request. And he wants to fight either Charles Oliveira or Dustin Poirier.
That's true.
Because I deserve to fight someone in front of me.
He does. He always does.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes out there and the guy goes to war. He's either going out on his shield or coming back with his shield.
Always. It's all. I can't think of a fight where it wasn't that way with Justin Gaethje ever since he started in the UFC.
I completely agree, and he got the win last Saturday, so why not give him what he wants? You know, he's just asking for more top contenders. He's not asking for anything else.
Yeah, either one. That would be either one of those are going to be a really good fight. Yeah.
Agreed. All right, let's go ahead and jump next to Bilal Muhammad blasts coward Colby Covington for choosing to be the backup instead of fighting him.
First of all, okay, I get that. If you want to start some shit, okay. But also,
I feel like that's what this is just starting shit.
Okay, but if the UFC called him to be a backup, I'm sure he'd jump in there too at the opportunity. Who wouldn't? To be a backup for a main event, I'm pretty sure anyone would take that because there's a chance of getting the belt.
With how often that has happened. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because, you can almost assume it's not going to happen. Champs are usually pretty professional about getting themselves to the fight, especially Kamaru and
Edwards.
And Edwards. Both of them are very professional. So, Colby showed up and, it's almost a win-win. He showed up. He made weight. He's obviously still there. He shows he's ready. Got the next fight regardless.
And he's one of the top contenders.
Been a top contender for a really long time. Yeah.
That's true.
He's still there. So now with Usman out of the way, he has a solid chance or a brand new chance of getting the belt. Although Leon Edwards is not easy. So I don't know how that would go, but
no, his striking is, on point. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Now, will Covington really be able to use his wrestling to his advantage in that fight? That's what will, of course, remain to be seen.
I don't know. Leon Edwards is
with
so
the way
good.
Edwards defends. Yeah. I mean, there's something that Colby Covington, let me say his name right first, will have to find a hole in Edwards' game that clearly Usman did not find.
Twice. So
yeah.
it's twice now. Got knocked out the first time. Didn't get knocked out this time, but could not get it. And I don't know what difference it would have made without the dirty moves that Leon Edwards put on there, but he could have
I think it would have been from a majority decision to just a unanimous.
Yeah, because they took a whole point away from him too. So he was already way up there on the scorecards, enough to get a point taken away and still come out on top. I don't know, but there was a takedown that Kamaru would have gotten if he didn't hold on to the fence, though. It was that bad. He was hanging on the fence for his life, basically, in that short period of time. And then held his glove while he was up against the cage too, which is illegal. Herb Dean saw it and called on it. And then the whole fence thing kind of put him over the edge, and he took a point from him. I don't know. The whole thing was a little dramatic, but yeah.
Now, what do you think about Muhammad calling him a coward for not fighting him?
He can call him all he wants, but when the opportunity arises to do something like that, I'm sure anybody else would take it. So I don't really hold anything against Colby for doing that. I don't think that Colby's not a coward. I think he's done everything he should have done. Like, he fought Kamaru twice. You're not a coward at that point. As much as I don't like him, that's not a coward.
Don't forget, he still has charges against Masvidal.
That was a bitch move. Outside of UFC, I don't even want to think, if we're going to separate things, I'll separate that from his
All UFC. Right, yeah, that is outside of UFC.
But if we're talking about the kind of guy and kind of character he has, yeah, well, that's that's a bitch move.
All right. Well, that was that for that. And now we're going to move on to some other stuff involving the UFC, of course. Tom Aspinall, he's good to go. He's eyeing a summer return against Marcin Tybura. Aspinall was out with a knee injury from his last outing. And that sucked because he did suffer a TKO loss to Curtis Blades last July because of the injury.
Yep.
He blew his knee out 15 seconds in. But Aspinall before that was on quite the tear, taking out people left and right, especially at heavyweight.
Yes. Yeah, he was.
I'm excited to see him come back. He was an exciting fighter to me before he got injured, and I can't wait to see what he does when he comes back.
Yeah, I'm glad he's back. I wonder if that affects anything going from here on out. I don't know. You never know. Knee injuries change your life forever.
It's true.
But that'll be a good one. I'm glad he turned around fast. I don't know if he had surgery or not, but it sounds like maybe he did. He had surgery.
He went under surgery for his MCL and meniscus.
Oh God, that's a big
as well as injury. Suffering damage to his ACL.
That's a big injury. A year is appropriate. I think it's time. If he's going to come back, it should be now. If he's healthy, now's a good time to get in everything you can get in. Because after a knee surgery, it's all downhill from there. You can preserve it as much as you want. Do all the rehab, get back in shape, but it's never the same after you injure that knee. And if it does, then lucky you. I've never heard of anyone say, "Oh yeah, my knee's 100% after having surgery." It's always
takes time.
Yeah. But you got to train different. You're not doing the same things as you did before.
Because you don't want to re-injure.
The way you stand and put your weight on your leg, whichever leg it is, it's different. Like I've hurt my one knee 3 different times, and it's my back leg. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's better to be the back leg because it's not the front. The front, you do put a little more weight on. You're blocking all those kicks with that leg. I find it to my advantage that if I had to pick, unfortunately, if you had to pick what needed to be hurt, the one that I think got hurt lets me get away with doing what I like to do still, carefully. But it's never the same. It's never 100%. Like, you could say it's 100%, but it's not. You always have to be careful. So after any injury, so we'll see how he handles it and what he's like with the fight coming back. Hopefully it's fine. I don't know. These people in UFC seem to do pretty well with injuries. They come back, and it's, Macy Barber also hurt her leg too. She had I don't know exactly what happened to her knee. I don't know if she had surgery, but she did hurt it in a fight, and she's already back. So, I don't know. Just depends how bad.
Very true. And he's been gone for a while now. It hasn't been a complete year yet, but still he says he's ready to go. And I imagine he's already rolling and practicing, and he seems good. Hell yeah, let's get him in.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to move on to a story that came out this week that was different. It's something that you don't really hear about in the world of fighting. And that is UFC's Jeff Molina comes out as bisexual after an intimate video is leaked, and he's the first open LGBTQ male fighter.
It sounds like he was forced to be open about it. I don't know if that was a self-choice or not.
Yeah, I don't know if I think he came out after the fact as that.
I mean, I guess you have to in his position, you know.
Yeah, because, I mean,
if you don't, someone else will get to it before you do, you know.
And I don't care.
I don't think anyone cares. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it belongs.
Good for him. Even though that caused him to come out, I hope that people treat him with respect and don't give him a bunch of grief over it and cause any problems.
The whole thing about what you are, your orientation, or whatever you want to believe, whatever you are, it's do not get that info. Please don't involve that with fighting. Like, it's such a good sport. Don't ruin it. Because I think, I don't know, maybe football, I don't know about basketball. It's just some of those things come up sometimes, and it just, you know, in football, I don't think, and I'm not a football person, so I don't know, and I forgot who the guy's name was.
There have been a few athletes that have come out as gay, and it's, I don't care. It's whatever.
I don't think anyone cares, but now that, when you bring it up, it's like, okay, now it's a thing because you brought it up, you know, when it wasn't before, when it didn't have to be. Very true. This poor guy sounds like he had someone leak a video of him without his permission and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. It just, from the sounds of the headline, that's what I'm assuming. And he probably wanted to get on top of it before anyone else made judgments or whatever. So he probably just did whatever he had to do. I hope that doesn't ruin anything for him as far as teammates or competitors, like opponents. I don't think it would, because I don't think anyone cares.
I don't know. I feel like this is interesting, because if there have been people that are bisexual or even gay, I don't recall anybody really coming out as that. At least in MMA.
The sport. Like the sport in general.
I think it could be because it is more of a testosterone driven, alpha aggressive, but whatever.
I mean, you hear about it all the time with females fighters.
Yeah, and no one cares. It's like that meme of from Jurassic Park. It's like, oh, he's gay. See, no one cares.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was forced to. I feel like he was forced to come out because the video was put out there.
It sounds like someone got him in a way, and socially came out with that. And I bet it had nothing to do with UFC. I bet it just happened. And now that he's in the UFC, and now it's a thing because he's in the UFC. Now because he's in the UFC.
You're right.
Yeah.
Also, but he ain't gonna be fighting anytime soon because he's under suspension.
Crazy.
Because of the James Krause betting scandals. So with that still going on, he will not. He will not be competing.
That whole thing sounds like everyone's going down that was even remotely related to that.
It does sound like that, doesn't it?
And no one's talking about it. There's no information out there on what exactly happened. No one's saying anything. I know it's a pending thing, so they're not going to. Dana White's adamant about it.
Put it out after the fact.
Yeah, right. This thing's wild. I forget about this, but it's crazy. I want to know what happened. And is there an actual investigation? Is investigation like justified? Is it, or is, you know, it sounds bad. And I think it might be pretty bad just because of the silence on it. Because of the, you know, you kind of have to keep it under wraps while an actual investigation's going in order to not ruin the investigation of whatever's going on. So I don't know. I want to know more information about that whole scandal, because it's obviously pretty serious when they're not letting you participate anymore in the UFC. So.
That's it. I wonder how long this investigation will go, because this has already been going on for a few months.
Yeah, but like, what are they doing? I mean, it's not like a murder mystery. You know what I mean? It's a betting scandal. So it's like, I wonder how much they have to do to figure out what happened. What's the punishment? Do they go to court? I mean, I don't understand what happens here. Kicked out of UFC, maybe for life, banned for life.
That if things come out and he is found guilty, or they are found guilty of being involved in this, I imagine so. That could be a ban from the UFC.
I think it will be.
I don't know if that would mean a ban from the sport. Maybe a ban in Nevada.
I don't know. UFC, I don't think Dana White would entertain them being back in the UFC if they're
not in the UFC. But there's other options. There's Bellator. There's PFL. Yeah. Like, would those people bring them in to their companies?
I don't know. Maybe just based on their resumes and how good they are and how good of a coach James Cross is. He's also a fighter. He's still a fighter also. So I don't know. I hope someone would pick him up. I don't know. But I don't know the seriousness of the crime, I guess.
Yeah. But we'll see, because the investigation is still going on. So we'll see what happens.
He is intertwined with that whole thing. So who knows what's going to happen with him as far as fighting goes.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. And then we also have Anderson Silva is going into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Good.
Of course. I mean, this is, we all knew this was going to happen. It was just, when is it going to happen?
Yeah.
So Anderson Silva, the GOAT, one of the GOATs.
Time, I guess. It's a good time to do it. You know?
Yep. He will be going in there. He holds notable victories over Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, Damian Maia, Dan Henderson, Derek Brunson, Stephan Bonner, and Nate Marquardt.
Yep.
And Rich Franklin. And the list goes on.
The list goes on. Yes.
So congrats to Anderson Silva for doing that and going into the UFC Hall of Fame, which is, of course, well-deserved.
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and bounce into some other MMA news outside of UFC. Anthony Pettis reveals bulking was minimal after agreeing to fight Roy Jones Jr. at 200 pounds. I feel like that's a lot of weight he's got to put on, because he was never that big.
He was a 170, right? Or was he smaller?
Was he? I want to say he was smaller, but it could have been.
I kind of want to say.
Who competed at lightweight and welterweight?
Welterweight. Okay, that's why I remember that. 170. 170. But lightweight is 155. So he goes even.
So he can cut the weight.
So he can cut the weight to 155 being 170. I just don't know how much heavier he can be after 170. But I mean, bodies change. You can bulk up. Sometimes you bulk up. True. You can never go back on what you did, you know. Just your body chemistry, I guess. And I don't know. Guys are different than girls. Girls can do some pretty crazy things with their bodies too. I know guys can do even more. So I don't know, you know. Also,
that's just crazy that he's able to yo-yo like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel so John Jones put on a lot lot of weight. He did.
Yeah, but it looked like his was just like, I don't have to train very hard.
Didn't look good.
Sit on the couch and eat.
It just looks like he eats
it's almost Easter. You ever get those little Snickers eggs? Those things are delicious.
Yes.
That's how he made weight. Because he just
yeah, that's what it looks like. That is what it looks like. But I don't know.
He looked like James Roper in The Great White Hype. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No.
It's a movie called The Great White Hype. Damon Wayans plays James the Grim Reaper Roper, who's like one of the best boxers of all time. And they can't find anybody to fight against him until the Sultan, who is supposed to be like a knockoff version of Don King, finds the only guy that beat him as an amateur and makes him like the number one contender.
Okay.
Or not number one contender. He makes him a contender and they fight. And when you see James Roper get on the scales, he's super bloated. He barely makes weight. It was just ridiculous. And honestly, that's what John Jones reminded me of.
Oh, geez. No, his weight didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all.
But he won the fight. He's the heavyweight champ, so...
But for Pettis, I don't see him being able to be too much bigger than that, realistically.
No, especially against Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones is going to knock the brakes off him.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
So that fight is April 1st. So we'll see how that goes. That's coming up within 2 weeks. And then lastly, we didn't have a show last week, so we're going to talk about it this week. Benson Henderson finished his career with the loss to Usman Nurmagomedov at at Bellator 292. Benson finishes his career at 30-12, 7-7 in Bellator. He's just done fighting. He's going to focus on his wife's career. His wife is 1-0, and that's what he wants to do. Yeah. He's said it's his wife's turn to shine.
Probably. That's good. That's good. I think he's been done for a while.
I think so too.
I mean, he's great. He's a great fighter. He'll always be a great fighter. But, I think the cards were against him at the end of his career in UFC. And then when he switched over, it never seemed to pick up too much after that.
Yeah, it would go in trickles. It would go in waves.
Yeah. So retirement, I think, is definitely a good choice there. I mean, why not? Your wife is fighting. Just have her fight and coach her. Maybe she can do something that she's meant to do.
Yeah, he is a former UFC and WEC champion who defeated Frankie Edgar, Nate Diaz, Donald Cerrone, Jorge Masvidal, and Gilbert Melendez.
Resume. That's a crazy
fantastic resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if I'm correct, wasn't it the Showtime kick? He was the person involved in the Showtime kick.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's on the other end of that, but yeah.
But the thing is, it didn't finish the fight. Like everyone thinks it's a flashy move.
No,
it didn't finish the fight.
It didn't finish the fight. It's a great move. It's never been done before like that, so that was entertaining. But yeah, I think you're right. I think people do think of that as an ending move, basically.
But it wasn't at all.
It didn't. But it's crazy. It's shown everywhere.
It was just a really pretty kick.
Yeah, it was. It's perfect.
Now, my favorite Benson Henderson era was his run in WEC. He was amazing in WEC.
Mm-hmm.
And when they jumped to UFC, he was fine, and then it just kind of subsided.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it for this week. That's all we got.
Basically, I didn't have anything else. Even last week, besides the fights that happened, not a whole lot.
No.
Not yet, anyway. I think when we get closer to July, things will start to pick up. I think because when they have their international
summertime,
fights, they have a really good fight card in July. The ones coming up sound pretty good. So, yeah, just normal. Year after year, I see a trend of how fights, like towards the end of the year, you'll end in November.
Fight cards pick up and slow down.
Take a long break till the new year, and then things pick up again. Then July is when it really happens, and I think August, September, October are the really good ones. So we'll see.
Very true. All right. Looks like that's going to do it for us here at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.